I'm a bad mood, gotta keep it tight. Hold my baby squid, keep him out of sight. Talking about my life, government stay away. If you drive, I'ma do it my own way. Squid in the ocean, swimming all alone. Ain't nobody telling me where to go. Living free, gotta stay true to myself. No need for interference from anyone else. Squid pro quo, that's the way to be. Living on my terms, setting myself free. Mama to my baby, protecting with my no government intrusion. I control my life.
Hey guys, it's Squid. Welcome back to my channel for the second time today. And I have with me everybody's favorite data analyst and facts guy, and follow the truth and see where we end up. Spawntrooper.
I want my mummy.
Are you ready to follow me down another rabbit hole?
No.
Like I had said in the last stream when I was talking about all the bankruptcy stuff, I was like, I can't fall down another rabbit hole because I don't have the strength to climb out. Like I'm not a strong enough climber to get myself out of some of these rabbit holes. So
why do you think I put a safety rope with a bungee around my waist?
You're the diver, so I figured you'd be good at climbing too, right?
Oh, in the fucking go and push the blame on me, why don't you?
Oh, you want in the heart here. Third merch idea. Squid Pro Quo, not as bad as Spawntrooper.
Do you know, Jeffrey, you're going way down on my fucking Christmas card list. I tell you, you keep going, fella. You keep going.
Oh, like and hey Paul, how are you? AP, not first. Tammy, Janet, how are you? Gail, yeah, and congratulations on joining Tentacle Nation here with Chris. Good to see you. And Ammo's girl, as always, great to see you.
Always.
Tammy says hi. Spawntrooper. And David Del Prince, how are you? Good afternoon. And Flash Fan, how's it going? Can't stay, but wanted to show support. Well, always good to see you. And Flash Fan, we will be doing that, talking about that Ohio case that you sent me tomorrow. It's been quite the day, and I haven't had all the time to go through it. And yeah, that's another rabbit hole that I'm scared to jump down. Holy.
You know, I think we need to start changing the terminology of these freaking holes, because, like, I don't think the rabbits are going to be very happy when they see us or boot marks leaving it. You know.
Speaking of rabbits, well, not rabbits, but
let's send Jeff Montgomery down there first.
But squirrels. I'm a squid. I'm about to tell a story on you. Squirrels, not attention span wise, but some I think these squirrels are trying to kill my mother. Oh my goodness. She was walking from her house to her car, or car to house, and the squirrels threw a pine cone out of a tree. It hit her in the head.
You know what that means, don't you?
I don't know what that means, but I'm pretty sure that means they're trying to kill her. They hate me. I can honestly say I've never been hit in the head with a pine cone thrown.
No. I'm telling you right now, I don't know. I don't think we should get involved in this. I think this is a personal issue between your man and the squirrel. I think we just need to just sit back and observe, because I think if a pine cone hits her on the head, I wonder, probably next to her will be a branch. So,
assassin squirrel.
Assassin squirrel.
The squirrels in Georgia don't play. Yeah, Flash Fan, we need some deep fried squirrel.
Yeah. And Jeffrey, and just for a quick one, Jeffrey Montgomery, I've got thick skin, mate. It's okay. I can take the beef.
I'd love to blame Flux for 8 tracks so she wouldn't hate apple pie. 8 tracks would have flipped.
Oh, Jesus Christ. What is everyone? Has everyone been drinking freaking Coca-Cola and Dr. Pepper and bounced off the walls? How much sugar has everyone been taking?
Flux rated my last stream, and I love Flux. She's amazing. But Flux was the butt of everybody's jokes in my last stream. Like, it's like, girls or dudes, stop picking on the girl. Like, she mad at her because she doesn't like apple pie, saying she's un-American.
Yeah. Love you, Jeffrey. No homo, by the way.
Oh.
No, but I find it very strange because, like, I know that Flux, she does the truck simulator. Sorry for the coughing, by the way. I know she does the truck simulator, and by God, I want to be in a truck simulator with Megan Fox and Flux, and then just drive past them at walk 10 going, got you. Or just go beep beep. Seriously, I mean, it would just to be able to do that, because I know for a fact they won't be able to drive 5 meters and then end up crashing into.
Flash fan, I did not pick on Flux. I did not roast her. AP and Bad Duck roasted her, which is like an everyday thing. Like, it's what it is. Like,
look at Squid. She picked on me the other day while I was even live. I'm fucking sitting here like next to her. She's going, "I'm snipe screening you," and I'm like, "What the?"
Yeah, I stream sniped you.
And I was like sitting there going, "What the hell does that mean?" Oh, you know when you get that moment of like the light bulb just goes.
I didn't roast Flux. I love Flux. I know. I don't hate. I could never hate Flux ever, because Flux. And I tell this to everybody, Flux is the reason that all of this exists. Because Flux was the first person ever to invite me on a live stream.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, I saw Flux for the first time, I think, when they were driving a truck. Obviously, I'm not going to go into it. But they were driving trucks, and I took an instant liking to her sense of humor. And it takes a lot for me to like someone, but for her, it was like, yeah.
Well, she's Army.
Well, that's probably why as well. Go Army.
Bad Duck roasts everyone. Well, in this house, we roast duck.
Do you know the Navy song?
Which one?
My one skin lays over my two.
No. Okay. Nope. We're gonna get into this before we completely go off the rails. So we skipped a couple of weeks because last week we derailed ourselves with a
Jeffrey,
stream. Well, we did. So we skipped a week because we completely derailed ourselves and went from a 1-hour stream to a 3-hour stream of laughing and making fun of everybody. However, this time we're going to give you a little throwback to what we were talking about. And this is my second stream back on StreamYard. So if I am looking for things, it's because I haven't used it in a while. So I am going to play my channel disclaimer before we get started on anything.
Yeah.
So.
The creator does not give medical, legal, or financial advice. You may hear opinions on this channel from the creator and guests that you may not agree with, and that is okay. Everyone is welcome to their own thoughts, views, and opinions, and this is a place for open debate and agreeing to disagree. Thank you. Do not contact anyone discussed in this stream. If you do, you will be blocked from this channel, and then continuously shamed by the creator and the chat for being stupid.
So there is my disclaimer.
Yes, and we'll sit here go, shame, shame, shame.
Yeah,
shame.
I don't have Megan's shame bell, but I can, we can make something up. You will hear the little, she is sitting right here. Her iPad is plugged in. We haven't figured out that fact that we need to let it charge, and we can't just charge it for 2 minutes, unplug it, and then expect it to work longer than 5 minutes. So, but anyway, 2 weeks ago.
Jeffrey, calm down. Jeffrey, calm down.
Hey, how are you? No flirts. Flux is very pick-onable, so it's her fault, to be honest. No, it's not. Flash fan, no one talks about Squid except Squid and a couple haters, but we just laugh because, no one. What do I say? Don't let anyone dull your shine. No one can dull this except for me.
Unless you give me your boots, and I'll make them shine I'll make them shine.
And some face powder, because this gets shiny a lot. But
Wait, what? Where do you think you are, on a TV show? Don't! Right, tonight's going to be a headache. I know it's going to be a headache. I know we're both going to be asking for freaking pain relief after this one.
Yeah, this one, so that means I can't Discord message you anymore. You can Discord message me anytime you want. So we're going to give a little 5-minute, hopefully 5-minute recap on what we've talked about in the last couple of streams for those of you who either weren't here or just to kind of catch up so we're all on the same page. So this started talking about a couple of the accidents that have happened in this country and why they happened, reading the NTSB reports, and it kind of evolved into why they happened, looked into ATC, found out that ATC needed an overhaul. We're going into...
That's okay, ladies and gentlemen. That was the 1700 hours alarm. You?
Talking to a few people that I know in aviation, where's the follow the money was what I was told. Follow the money. Follow the money. So I started looking into where the money goes, and it's a lot of money. And then I found out that for better or for worse, this new administration has a plan. We may not love it. We may hate it. We may love it. Doesn't really matter at this point. At least someone has a plan for the first time. Spawn has asked the question every week that we've talked about this. Why has it been pushed off so many years if every administration says that it's behind the times and needs to be upgraded? It's a question we're never going to get the answer to because it's just that, no accountability, because no one ever wants to take accountability for anything ever in this world because that means that they'd have to admit fault. And nobody's ego in a power position will let them do that. Ask me how I know. But side note. So the last time we talked, we went through the new plan for the ATC system, talked about how much it was going to cost. And then we also looked at the Airport and Airway Trust Fund, which was started in the 1970s by a piece of legislation that still is in effect today. Nothing's really replaced that piece of legislation from the 1970s. It's been upgraded, but barely. This Airport and Airway Trust Fund, I've looked into where the money has gone from it. I can't find anything. It's like I might have to do FOIA requests on it. The money's there. Is the money not there?
Or we can drive down to Area 51 where a toilet seat will cost probably $120,000.
It's the...
Yep. Welcome to the rabbit hole.
Yes, most flight controls are, but it's the thing, Outpost Nerd, that we've, and it's good to have you here, by the way. I haven't seen you here in a couple weeks, especially for this is the first time I've seen you here for this. But the planes are getting upgraded. The ATC is not. Yeah. ATC is still from the 1970s in this country.
Can I just say something towards the flight control systems? A lot of the aircraft, especially Airbus, and I think Boeing. Funny enough, I actually read not a document, but an article in regard to flight systems, because in some planes you've got the typical yoke type of joystick with the arm, the yoke. But in most modern aircraft, you've got now the joystick, which is either on the left or on the right. But they are saying that like you got computerized fly-by-wire or it's fly-by-wire. And I think that I didn't agree with the document, because if you have a computer that does everything in the aircraft, including if you've got a control stick that if you just touch it, now suddenly you've got it operates the aircraft, elevators or ailerons or something like that. What happens if you've got a computer system failure? You can't rely on 100% computer systems. And then that takes us now back into this freaking nightmare of a rabbit hole in regards of ATCs, the money, and everything else. You throw that in one pot. Welcome to the night's stream, Overhauling Aviation. Where did the money go? No one knows.
Yeah, it just seems to be passed around, and Biden once said, "The buck stops here." I don't remember if he ever remembered what he was talking about or if he knew what a buck is, but it definitely didn't stop with him. Nothing stopped with him. However, this was the plan, and I will post the links to these PDFs. I will make a folder in the Discord. That's another rabbit hole that I have to catch up on. But this was one of the things that we went over probably a month ago. It was expensive. And then we moved on to, and this is this is my criticalness of StreamYard is I can't just click from one to the other like I could with Streamlabs. So there's my there's my sorry guys, there's my criticism.
I mean, AP brought up an interesting comment, but I've responded to him. Hopefully,
yeah. If the FAA would allow it, the planes could take off and land without human interaction in the cockpit. AP, I email. I have something to ask you. I might know somebody who knows your cousin. I know Gulfstream's a big company, but I know people who work at Gulfstream too.
The only thing I don't want to go right now, okay, with the utmost respect to quite a lot of people, Outposts and AP and everything, you know, I mean, talking about the control system, the computers and single pilot flights and stuff like that is going to be a very, very nice topic because I've actually been doing some research on that lately. But right now we're concentrating on the fiscal, the financial, you know, the money itself, because let's be realistic. I mean, since 1970, you know, I mean, yeah, we're looking at nearly 56 years, right? And some of the ATCs are like 20, probably 15 to 20 years behind, where aircraft now, you know, are way ahead in technology than ATC. So, you know, but it'll be a nice topic to discuss.
Yeah, and right now on this one, this topic is so big that we're trying to break it into smaller topics that are not as
it's
smaller
not a
topics and address them one at a time, because even these budgets are 600 pages long.
And plus, you don't want to turn you know, opinion and information into a lecture.
Yeah, it's also it's meant to be a discussion and an education as far as like where things happen, but not a lecture. Because if I wanted to give you all a lecture, I would send you to a Aviation Institute of Maintenance or economics. Or this is meant to just be a don't trust what you're told on the news. Don't trust what you're told in the news. Do your own research, and just because it's a big topic doesn't mean that it can't be broken down into smaller stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So we moved on to this, and that 1970 Act or Revenue Act is still around. They haven't replaced it with anything. There has been rumors that this one's been raided.
Sorry, Jeff Montgomery. He's trying to press my buttons, but he just stop it, Jeff. Behave yourself. I don't need screen time, dude. Anyway,
This
I
one
mean,
right here.
this one here that we covered last time, that gives you like an insight. That's from 2023, and it brings up quite a few different dates and quite a few different amounts. But from 1970 to present day, I mean, I am a little bit like, I'm very surprised that the system hadn't been worked on. It would have avoided a lot of the incidents that we've been witnessing over the last year.
Yeah, and it's always one of those things, as everybody was so focused on upgrading planes and upgrading planes and upgrading planes. Mm-hmm. And just with all the upgrading of planes, it's like you got to upgrade what controls the planes.
And also the staff as well. Yeah.
And there is a lawsuit still pending, last time I checked, about ATC's hiring practices that were changed in 2014, 2015 timeframe. That has to do with DEI. They changed the hiring practices to increase the diversity of the people that were hired, and went from, because they literally said there were too many white males, instead of going through the college program that they had used and going through these universities of people who had gone through years and years and years, they wanted more off the street people, which is all well and good. However, it lowered the amount of education that they received. And that lawsuit is a decade old and still ongoing. Yeah, I've looked at it recently and it's still ongoing.
Can I just interject very quickly? Check private chat, by the way. Keep an eye on that as well during the stream. Yep. The perfect example in regards of where all this money is going is, like, all you have to do is do a little bit of research on ATC traffic, or listen to ATC traffic. Like I said, I've been doing some research on this because it is part and parcel of this whole topic. You know, because, like, the thing is, when you employ someone or you train someone or you employ someone to work in an ATC, they have to be fluent in what they're doing, and they need to be knowledgeable in communication. Now, when you've got someone who's talking runway Juliet Bond, Bravo Bond, and then basically they're giving instructions to the pilot is responding correctly. He's responding. He's doing a readback correctly, and at the end he's using his call sign. And after 2 or 3 times, suddenly the ATC is turning around. So, well, you haven't used your call sign. You are supposed to use your call sign at the end of the readback. And I'm noticing this now after all the incidents that happened in Washington, D.C., the Reagan airfield with Pat-25, the incident with in New Jersey with a helicopter, and quite a lot of other incidents, I'm noticing a decline in communication knowledge between ATC and pilots. Now, to become a pilot, you have to go through a long time of training and everything else. ATC, I'm not sure, I haven't got that far yet. But if an ATC controller is not communicating, articulating themselves correctly, right, half of the close calls and half of the incidents that have happened. I sent Squid a video a while back where a plane was coming into land and everyone was given permission to take off, and the other one passed the runway, the active runway. The other one was taken off, and the wing clipped the tail end of the other plane. And that plane went, yeah, we just had a mid-air, we need to come back, because the ATC controller made a mistake. These mistakes should not be happening. That's why money is put into this, to train these people to do it properly. So where's all this money going? And unfortunately, Squid and I have decided to put our little armbands on, our little airbags on our arms, and jump down this freaking rabbit hole without any type of training or advice.
Water wings and floaties.
Can you imagine finding us in the rabbit hole? We're both sitting there going, and we got these little ducks on our arms, on each arm.
I need a life preserver for this one. I'm gonna put my hair up for this one and try to figure out where this. Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
look on the bright side. Now we get to keep our shoes on when we go through TSA. Honestly, like with the amount of scanning that they do, like why that rule wasn't changed a decade ago. Like I know it seems tiny, like it seems like a tiny thing, but thank God that she actually like did it. You know, like finally. So
It's
so
I just think that like Jeff made a comment in there, even though he's just been trying to press my button for the last 10 minutes. But I will.
Yeah.
He has made a good point. If it's not broken, don't try to fix it. However, when it comes to the integrity and the safety of other people, I'm sorry, but there's no quarter given. At the end of the day, right? The equipment needs to be up to date. People need to be trained up to a level where, you know, if they're not performing, right, they shouldn't be sitting on that radio talking at all. Why did I just get that look?
you didn't get it. My mom did. When I said we need a
Uh-oh.
life preserver, she said that would be your seat cushion.
Oh, in the heart, Mum.
So before we get started on looking at any budget, I want to do two things. For one, in the U.S., for those of you who in the U.S. who don't know, and for those of you outside the U.S. who might have absolutely no idea, because if it sounds confusing, it fucking is. Our fiscal year for our government is October 1st through September 30th. So when we say fiscal year 2025, it is October 1st of last year through September 30th of this year. So when we look at these things, we're not trying to make this, and we will not make this political based on who was in office at the time. However, there are certain things that people will generally make, well, this person was in office. Think about 2025, even though Trump is in office, this budget for 2025 was put in place, started October 1st of last year, and was approved in May or June of last year. So the timeline of things before, you can't just look immediately like, oh, it started when Trump got in office. You have to, because I know there are going to be those stragglers who, even though we do our best not to make this a right versus left or a Trump versus whatever, I know there are going to be the occasional person who will. And I want to make it clear, for one, when we talk about the money, it's October 1st through September 30th. And second, it's proposed in May, presented in May, and approved in June or July. So there's a process long before it gets approved of doing this. Also, this was just recently passed in the bill that was passed on July 4th, also known as the Big Beautiful Bill, whatever, the reconciliation bill. Part of that air traffic control overhaul that was expensive, $12.5 billion of the money in there. And I will go through that bill at a later date, not the time and the place for it right now, but this is important to this subject. Senate passes $12.5 billion plan to fix America's air traffic control system. The Senate passes sweeping budget reconciliation bill with billions of dollars to fix air traffic control system. President Donald Trump is expected to sign the budget proposal, which he calls the Big Beautiful Bill, whatever, An earlier version of the legislation, which had previously passed the House, still needs to be reaffirmed by the lower chamber after the Senate's updates. While the contentious legislation may contain spending cuts, and we all know this is USA Today, they don't like Trump. They're, in general, if you look at the grand scheme of things, they are left-leaning. So when we read this, remember, they don't like Trump. So take everything they say with a large grain of salt. It also provides $12.5 billion to fund upgrades to the nation's air traffic control system. This is in addition to the proposed budget for the 2026 overall FAA budget. That's a whole separate can of worms. This is in addition to that. We are grateful the Senate understands the urgent need to overhaul our nation's air traffic control system and included $12.5 billion in their reconciliation package for that cause. This is an important first step as Secretary Duffy works to implement President Trump's vision of a brand new state-of-the-art system. Airlines for America, an industry lobbying group, said in a statement when the legislation cleared the Senate. Whatever you think of the plan, good or bad, positive or negative, you have to take into account that for the first time in 40 years, a president or an administration as a whole actually has an effing plan. I will take that as a win. Like, yes, that right here. It's not political. People are dying, needs to be fixed. Yes. Like, I agree. However, we know that no matter how hard people try to remain apolitical, there is someone who will twist it. People are making the floods in Texas political, and there's a pediatrician who was fired in Texas for saying she is glad those little girls died because their parents voted for Trump. She has been fired. That is a rabbit hole that we will jump down in another stream, probably on a Saturday night when I have some wine. Transportation Secretary Duffy proposed a major overhaul of traffic control technology in May in response to ongoing issues at Newark Liberty International Airport. Newark has lost its air traffic control systems at least twice that I'm aware of in the past couple months. Like, completely. All communication. Tower died. Controllers there had experienced a series of radar and radio outages, which prompted some to take trauma leave and the FAA to reduce the number of flights at the airport. The trauma leave. Is it really like a traumatic experience where you need to take trauma leave? Just something to ponder on a side note. Duffy has repeatedly called on Congress to fund the improvements outside of the FAA's normal 5-year funding cycle, and the One Big Beautiful Bill Act provides billions of dollars for air traffic control modernization products. This funding is a vital down payment on updating the system that guides the 27,000 flights, 2.7 million passengers, and 61,000 tons of cargo every day. Airlines for America said in a previous statement after the House passed its initial version of the legislation. The Senate version called for closing and consolidating some air traffic control facilities, which could help boost efficiencies as the system is modernized, but may also lead to political infighting as members of Congress try to preserve jobs in their districts as facilities are identified for closure. Yeah, there's that political infighting. Everybody wants to keep jobs, which I get in their districts. However, we got to get this done. So somebody's got to give temporarily, somebody's got to give something up. All right. The little just closed and locked the door. I don't know what's happening here. Oh, it doesn't matter if it's political. The left will make it political because they can't let Trump. Yeah. And the libertarians will let the world burn before they compromise. That one I agree with. Libertarians are the weird ones.
Maybe that is the exact problem. If they would actually separate this from any political influence and have like an independent body separate, I think.
There's the problem, though. Nobody will remain or can remain independent. They say they can, but at the end of the day, if you have an R or a D by your name or were appointed, even judges are supposed to remain neutral. But all you see when you see something, Obama appointed judge, Trump appointed judge, Clinton appointed judge. It shouldn't matter who the hell appointed them, but it does. It's the sad world we live in. So the only way that they're truly going to be independent is if random people, non-politicians, but there's no way of easily doing that. And there's literally no way to make it. There's no way to easily do it. I could be completely.
No, I mean, the easiest way they could sort this out is basically what they do. They cut down on the flights, put the prices down a little bit, and then basically only have specific flights going to specific airports, and then take 1% of the airports, close them down, revamp them, upgrade them, and then reopen them, then close down the other airports. But you have to bring the flights down, so you've got enough space for all the flights to come in. Internal flights, right? Like if you want to, instead of having 10 going like all day, going from San Francisco to, say, New York, you'll only have 2. So you book the flight, it's going to be, and then bang. You just have to cut down the flights. If you want this to work,
Hold on.
Sorry.
You keep talking. I have to clean up a mess.
Right. Okay. If you want this to work, with the amount of money, I've been quiet because I've been reading through the this year's fiscal budget submission. If you would have to cut down the flights, you would have to close down all major airports, or half of them, out of the 440 that we mentioned in the past. Sorry, I just choked on it. Anyway, you would have to close them down, take 200 airports, revamp them, while the other 200 take up the rest of the traffic. But you then have to cut down the flights, the amount of flights there are internally, so you've got enough space to play with. And the international flights, well, you'd have to do the same thing. And then once those 200 are done, then you flip over to the other 200. And then once 400 airports, which they've been talking about, then bang, you're back up on level. All the airfields, all the airports are up to date.
The problem with that is it would have to be less than half, because it would probably have to be like an eighth, because the amount of flights that we have every day, and you would, like Atlanta, you wouldn't be able to do, like Atlanta, you would have to do like a quarter of their tower at one time. Like you would have to keep half of their tower up and running while you do the other half. There's right. Ways that because Outpost it might work in other countries, but that wouldn't work here. And that's where, but this is where Outpost Nerd, this is where we have a forum for discussion, and we just talk these things out loud, because we just keep all this information to ourselves. Like nothing ever, if we don't have this common discourse and discuss these topics, but basically this is a forum for we brainstorm.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like in regards of Outpost Nerd's comment, he says 100,000 flights in half a day, that's not going to work. Well, the thing is, at the end of the day, would you rather have a safe airport? Would you rather have safe flights above you? Or would you like to endanger people's lives and just, I mean, like, yes, I get it. You can't run before you can learn to walk. But somewhere down the line, you have to draw the line and go, right, we've had too many close calls. We've had too many freaking accidents. We've had too many people freaking losing their plot, and we need to put a stop to this. We need to upgrade the stuff. And the only way that's going to work is if there's a chain reaction through the whole industry.
Yeah, it would take a lot of coordination to do something like that. I understand where you're coming from. I part of the issue is that I'm seeing with something like that is it would take a lot of coordination with a lot of airlines, because you would have to go maybe in air. Well, you take one terminal off in Atlanta, the entire system would be thrown into chaos. But say Delta, for example, Delta has their largest hub in Atlanta. So if you took, and this is me brainstorming. So like I'm thinking, I'm like looking at a map of the US. Delta has their other hub in Cincinnati, which is technically in Kentucky, but that's neither here nor there. So you diverted a lot of their flights. So say I was flying from here to Wisconsin. I usually go from Savannah to Atlanta to Milwaukee. Say I had to go from Savannah to Cincinnati to Milwaukee instead. So it would put a little bit more pressure on Cincinnati for a little bit of time, but it would take pressure off of Atlanta if other airlines did those same things, kind of diverted and put pressure on other airports around. It would take a lot of coordination. It could be done, but it would take a lot of coordination and a lot of people working together. And the working together part is what I don't know.
The magic word is the magic word, because the thing, like, let's look at this realistically. An outpost, I get it, but like if Heathrow or Gatwick or Cardiff airports, or Edinburgh, Glasgow, or Dublin, all these airports, major airports, if they have one runway down, obviously they're going to get a lot of traffic. Now, here's the thing that you should look at. If you step out of the box and look at this at a bigger picture, why are they suddenly now running around like headless chickens? They've had 60 years to upgrade the system as and when they needed to upgrade it. Why are they still got the old systems? This is the whole circle. There's a breakdown of communication somewhere. Someone is not doing their job. Because if you've got aircraft upgrading and you've got people being trained up to a certain level, right? Is it because that the equipment is only that, it's only like Windows this, Windows that, right? We only have to train them up. We only have to give them 60 hours training and then put them on a radar for a couple of weeks and just have someone like the police when they go out with a new recruit, right? You got your FDO sitting next to them and they're going around for a couple of months. It's like we're talking about putting people in positions of responsibility for a lot of people's lives, not just in the air, but on the ground. A lot of this stuff could have been done each year. They could have taken, right, we're going to do LAX. We're going to do LAX ATC this year and then work on LAX. Just saying.
Yeah. So there's nothing's easy. And but here, my mom brings up a really good point. And airlines pay really big bucks for their gates, and they're not going to want to give up any of their gates. And that's the problem, is they barely make any money as it is. An outpost nerd, it takes, it used to take a lot longer than it does now. And that I have to get back into that lawsuit. It's Brigada v. Department of Transportation. I almost said Department of Education, but that's a whole nother issue. But Gail brought up a really good point. She brought up her earlier comment was time to build a new tower and all the stuff next to the old tower. Maybe that would be cheaper.
Jeff said the same thing, actually. I'm just reading the comments. So I've been reading that document. I'm now reading the comments. And Jeff has said exactly, they both basically said the same thing. And I mean, you can do that. I mean, there's even what I know for a fact over here, they've even got mobile ATCs they can connect to the system. And it's an emergency mobile system, ATC. So they can put a temporary ATC in place while they're fixing or building a new one.
Either way, it's going to be expensive. So it's what's going to be the least headache?
Yeah, is finding a company who's not in a bidding war trying to get the fucking job trying to get the job in the first place. It should be one company responsible to do the ATCs, because if you've got multiple companies, you're going to start having bidding wars. When you've got bidding wars, people then start lowering the bill. Therefore, you get cheap labor. Therefore, you get mistakes.
And Outpost Nerd, I just got your message about the air traffic control qualifications. We've actually gone through that in one of our earlier issues. But I have an entire, I'm going to go to my channel. I was talking about playlists. Let's see. No, you don't want this? Okay. Well, okay.
I'll have it.
I'm addicted to these things. It's these Ready Clean protein bars. There's this mint chocolate chip. I am addicted.
Yeah, I'll have it. I'll have it. Put it in the post. I'll have it.
There is
With the mold.
my aviation playlist.
The only thing I don't understand is why is it suddenly now such a big freaking deal? Why haven't they? I just don't understand why they've been dragging their feet.
Because it's everybody else's problem. It's never a problem. We're a reactive. You ask this question every week.
I know.
Because Trump. Because Trump. Why is it a problem now? Because Trump. Trump is the one who is like, this has been a problem for 50 years, and I'm finally doing something about it. Because Trump. Like, there's no other way to address that besides Trump. Like, it's not a thing. It's just
I understand what you're saying.
like it's everybody else's. And if it sounds, and I always say this on my channel, if it sounds like it's stupid or it sounds like it's people not taking responsibility, that's because that's what it is. It's people not taking responsibility. It's people making it everybody else's problem. We are a reactive society, not a proactive society, which is part of our problem. We don't ever do things until it's too late.
So basically, every single administration since 1970 until now have basically fucking shat on the taxpayers.
Yes.
From a great height.
Yes.
So it's not just one administration; it's all of
everybody, and that's why I said this should not be a political issue because both sides are at fault. Every president, every Congress, everybody is at fault. This is not a left versus right. This is that everybody sucks and everybody screwed the pooch and put it on the next person's problem.
That's why I always drive everywhere.
I did a stream. So I'm going to show this, and this is going to be weird because I'm going to
see yourself.
Yeah.
With your head bun up.
Yeah, this is gonna be weird. This is literally me going through the FAA's, not only their hiring practices, but their fourth amended complaint of FAA and their hiring and how they hire air traffic controllers. This was 4 months ago. This was this was not my first stream on this. This is
wait, what does it say there?
It said I don't have white guilt, I have common sense. Because there's a thing in here. It mentions race a lot. See, also in August 2013, per APTM metrics, a change was requested, submitted to the ATCS application process, eliminating the ability of new applicants to input the geographic preferences. Change had to be studied when it was recommended by the independent panel. It was blindly implemented upon information and belief without any validation study when recommended to change racial hiring results to favor African Americans.
What the hell does that shouldn't even be part of the freaking recruitment?
It is.
It doesn't matter what ideology. It doesn't matter what ideology or what skin color or what planet you're from, as long as you can do your freaking job.
That is the problem. That's the problem.
What the hell? You need to send me that. I want to read that.
I will. I haven't gone through the whole thing. I got sidetracked on other stuff, but like I started covering that
4 months ago.
Well, that was my second. That was part 2. I'm trying to find part 1 because part 1 I literally went into.
I mean, I've heard that the world is going to freaking nuts, but when it comes to freaking dealing with the safety and
so it's not only the technology, it's people. Like, it's not only the technology. They literally changed the hiring practices in 2015 and got sued. And that lawsuit is still, the last time I checked, still out for, I'm trying to find it.
Jeff, is that Department of Employment freaking whatever it's called.
DEI, diversity, inclusive, or DEI,
Oh, DMV, diversity and yeah,
equity and inclusion.
yeah.
Yeah, I have to find part 1. I
No,
got
that shouldn't even come into question. At the end of the day, if you're going for a job, right? Technically, all they need to know is that, are you human? Yes. Right. Okay. Can you read and write? Yes. Okay. Good. Let's go. I mean, that it doesn't matter what community you come from or what culture or what religion or whatever, male or female. It doesn't matter. It matters when you are capable of doing your job right the first time.
Yeah, like I've
Just
gone
like-
fact checking political ads. Like we've gone way back. Like we've gone way back. FEMA myths. Like we've gone way back. I just can't find that stream.
When was all this implemented? In the last 10 years, wasn't it? Last 10, 15 years?
2015. I want to say I don't know what I did with part 1. I don't think I privated it. I don't know if I did. It was for something dumb.
Ollie, do you know when diversity and
Equity and inclusion.
Oh, 1990 something.
in the 90s?
20 years ago.
About 20 years ago, yeah? Yeah, because
Oh, here. It's freaking right next to it. I'm stupid. This was my 2-hour stream. Ooh. So this was
Do you know, sometimes it's weird watching your old streams, seeing you sitting there with that, and then now looking at you now with the wall behind you. It's yeah.
But like we looked at there's Unhung Hero with one of my first super chats. I worked for a transport company on Howell, just south of the runway.
Exactly, Paul.
But like there's air traffic controller qualifications.
So look. Oh my.
So like it's one of those things of like this has been
Be United States citizen, be under. Oh right, okay.
This had 319 views. Like but this was I went through this. And this was the fourth amended complaint, but this is document 114.
And that was 2020.
Yeah.
Right. So basically, I mean, yeah, if you're going to work at an ATC, I mean, United States, yeah, United States citizen, yep. You're above the age of 18, yep. You know, I mean, like, as long as you fit the criteria, but there shouldn't be any, what you call it, funnel tactics where, are you from the Afro-American community, or are you from the Native American community, are you from that shouldn't actually matter whatsoever.
So they had an AT-CTI program, which was a college program.
Hang on a minute. My queen is getting involved in this one.
No, that is when they became an act.
Yeah, because
before there were mini regulations.
Right. Yeah, I can remember that when that came into our unit, because we all had to get a briefing on that.
And then it was 2018, everything, and then you became at work and everything.
Yeah, because we had to go away on a 2 week on a week's course for that there, the Equality Act.
And any company has to do training for every year.
Yeah, so it was 2010 then.
Yeah, about 15
Yeah,
years.
I thought it was 2014. Yeah, it was so it's 2000. What?
2018 there was another one.
Yeah, that was an annex. Yeah, that was upgraded. Yeah, but in 2010 the Equality Act came in because we had to do a 2 week course on it. Okay. I'll fight you.
Remember, she has the frying pans.
I know, that's what worries me. Yeah, so over here, I can remember going on a 2 week course of doing it in 2010. We had to go on a 2 week course because the Equality Act came out in 2010, and we all had to, because that's where diversity came into, onto the military sort of regime type of institution type of thing. And but I'm a little bit gobsmacked that is this criteria in the actual recruitment list, or is this just the backstage type of like we need more Afro-Americans, African Americans.
I am all for like hiring whoever. Like I should, like I know I'm whiter than snow, but it's one of those things of like I am all for hiring whoever, but I don't want to be worried about like I've never in my life looked at someone, and I've talked to Flash Fan about this a little bit. I've never in my life before like the last 3 years looked at somebody and been like, are they in that position because they're intelligent and they're qualified, or are they in that position because they're Black or they're Hispanic or and I've never in my life, like I was not raised like that. But now with people being forced into positions, like it's fine to hire someone, whoever, based on qualifications. I don't care what freaking color they are. I don't care. Don't care what color they are. Don't care what gender they are. Don't care who they sleep with at night.
It should be based on the ability.
What equipment my pilot has in their pants, none of my damn business. However, my pilot can identify as a damn like doodlebug. I don't care. But
as long as he can fly,
they can be married to an oak tree. I don't care. As long as they can fly the plane and they are the most qualified person to fly that plane, I don't care. But looking at people now, I'm like, are you really?
Is it because they're trying to right? Let me because I've just seen Jeff's comment. Let me just point something out here. Is it because of these companies or these organizations are trying to make a statement? Oh, look what we're doing, and just ignoring the common sense part of like, hey, let's employ the person who's qualified to do the job, and we know they can do the job, regardless of their ideology, cultural background, or whatever. I mean, like I don't want us to derail away from and then make it into a racial thing or go down that rabbit hole. But this is absolutely ridiculous. A person should be employed by the ability to do the job in the first place, not by their ideology or whatever. If they got a man sausage or taco between their legs, or what planet they're from, is regardless. They should be able to do the job. Simple as. Like when you're in the Navy,
people being scared of being seen as being the R word to it over course correcting.
Yeah, there's a lot of
over course correcting. Like, I don't care I don't care. I could care. I could care less. Like I had a friend in college. Well, I still have a friend, but we met in college. When we were in college, I invited her to my birthday party. And I had just met her maybe like a month or two before. And she asked if she could bring her spouse. And I said, yeah, no problem. The more the merrier. And she goes, it's a girl. And it was like, am I like, what am I supposed to like care or something? Like, is that supposed to be like I was generally confused. And she looked at me like, you don't care? And I was like, am I supposed to? Like I'm not like.
Yeah, I mean, people are shocked when you turn around. I mean, like, I've got friends who are gay, and I've got friends who and they go like when they go, oh yeah, my husband also is going to be there. I went, yeah, and and for me, at the end of the day, I have got one rule: respect is earned and not just given. And also, when it comes to employment, I don't care if you were dropped off on this planet and you've got 60 different tentacles on you and you've got 50 eyes. I don't care, as long as you can do two things. You can respect your colleagues and work in a team environment, and you know what you are doing. And if you don't, you ask for help or advice. Other than that, I don't really give two monkey wrenches whatever. I don't care. I mean, but that there in that document, in that court document, to see that actually there is it instead of actually fixing a freaking problem, it's causing a divide.
Yeah, and I think it caused more problems than it's fixed. How about instead of, and I've said this, I repost things like my Facebook page. Like I repost reels. Like I don't really post anything of like, hey, we're doing this weekend. Like I just scroll through reels when I have insomnia and I repost them. That's all I do.
I mean,
And
look
it's like-
at us two. Look at us two. Right? You're female, American, and Navy. A male, Welsh, and Army. Does that make us any freaking different?
Not really.
We're human beings. We've got different qualities. We've got different. We've had different training. You know, there's things you can do, I can't do. There's things I can't do that you can do. I can't go up to a fucking aircraft and go, oh yeah, I know what the problem is here. You know.
And there was and Tammy brings up a good point. Back in time, two people of different races both had the same qualification to the job, but one got it and the other was no. I think that's why DEI came around. I think, and Tammy, I do understand where you're coming from. I unfortunately wasn't alive during those times. No offense. Like that was not meant to be like I was an 80s baby and a 90s kid where like nobody really seemed to give two flying fucks. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. And then
the 90s was a great time to grow up. I'm just going to say.
And in them days that you had, unfortunately, a lot of the workplaces were classified as institutionalized. So you had people with a mindset. And like in the 90s, and I can speak from experience in the 90s, beginning of the 90s, there was a mindset change, and especially in the military as well, when they at one point brought stress cards in. So recruits or crows, they could walk around these stress cards. And, you know, the moment you take away discipline at home and in schools, and oh my God, no. And the thing is, the moment you take away discipline, maybe at home, maybe at school, because if you look at people who still receive discipline in school or at home, look at them compared to people who didn't.
And I had a conversation with somebody this morning when they were talking to me about a different case. Somebody wrote me about a case this morning about another child unaliving their parents. And they said, God, what is wrong with kids these days and no discipline? And we got to talking. And it was like, yeah, one of those things of like the children not being disciplined their entire lives. And then when they're teenagers and they finally have consequences to actions, they flip out and do some crazy shit. Like unalive their parents when they're told no, or when they're yelled at, or like Carly Gregg, her mom took away her vape pens and she unalived her mother. Like on camera, actually. You could hear the shots on the household camera in the kitchen. And then she just comes nonchalantly coming back in the kitchen, hides the pew behind her back on the stool and just sits there and waits for her stepdad to get home and then shoots him. Like it's nothing, all because her mom got mad at her, told her she couldn't hang out with some friends of hers that were bad news in a vape pen at like 14 years old. Permanent solutions to long-term problems, or long-term solution to a short-term problem. You know how many times my mom yelled at me and pretty much told me I couldn't hang out with some of my friends when I was little? Too many times to freaking remember. Like
just to throw in it, do you know what, like I'm going to talk about my childhood. We used to get kicked out of the freaking house after breakfast. About an hour after breakfast, we used to get yeeted out of our house.
You got an hour? I got like 10 minutes.
After breakfast, we had to get dressed as well. So anyway, and obviously have bathing.
In our house, you got dressed before breakfast. So okay, there's the time difference.
Easy, Tiger. Anyway, so and then we got yeeted out of our house, and we got told, do not come back until 5 o'clock. So, but the thing is, like 99% of the time you'd have mom or dad coming out, going, shouting your name, get in for lunch, and you go in for lunch, and then you'd get kicked out again. And then, you'd spend time with your friends, and the social interaction was freaking awesome. But then things started changing about the government's taking away parents and teachers being able to discipline students and pupils, and now look where we are now. And the thing is, when now if you look at it in a workplace, if I say, for example, I'm in a workplace and someone shouts at me because I did something wrong, right? Fine, but It's just getting stupid. What's next? Oh, sorry, you're breathing in my general direction. I don't appreciate that. I think I need to have a mental health day today. I'm going home. That's how I'm sorry, but that's how stupid it's becoming.
Well, getting back to the race issue and
yes, the money.
Tammy's comment and then Outpost Nerd's comment. I think Tammy, we course corrected so much, and people got so, especially white liberals, got so scared of being seen as racism that they started being racist in a completely different way and not even thinking about it. And now it's so ingrained in certain people that they're racist and they don't even realize it. When you tell someone that they're too stupid to get an ID to vote, you just basically told somebody that they're too stupid to get an ID because they live in the rural America, or they're black. And it's like, I don't know any black person or any person that lives in rural America that doesn't know how to get a damn ID.
Can I just say something as well?
Yeah.
Maybe this will be a shock to some people. So stand by, everyone. If you're sitting down, make sure you're sitting comfortably. If you're standing up, make sure you sit down. Because this word is going to scare you. Discrimination. There's a big difference between racism and discrimination. And I think that, like, over the last 10, 15 years, because people cry wolf so much, and they use these words like racism, defamation, slander, blah, 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 blah. All right. People have just gone, you know what? That's easier to say, because if you say racist, all right, there's a big reaction. If you say discrimination, there's a small reaction. And I think that, like, we've basically forgotten.
This is an interesting. Oh, we just lost my internet. I just lost myself. There we go. We back? We back?
Yeah.
We back.
Yeah. Okay. You still there? Yeah. You didn't leave at all.
Sweet.
You just sort of looked like a mushroom for a second.
I always froze at the freeze when I'm like,
Yeah. Some of the face expressions on some people, if you take a screenshot of that and then put it on a hate group, oh my God, so many people going, I am going to make a Muppet of this one now. No, but seriously, I think that, like, the difference between racism and discrimination, right? People need to start using discrimination more, the wording and the understanding of what it means.
But people, if you say a word enough, you change the meaning, and that's what people are trying to do too. But getting back on topic, because technically we
lost it.
Well, we didn't lose the plot. We just
Taxi.
We didn't lose the plot because technically we went to ATC and their hiring practices and the other issue with ATC. But here's the fiscal year 2025 budget.
One second. I need to catch up. Let me get a taxi. 1 sec. Right, I'm back. Okay, let's go.
All right. It is 600 pages. And the one thing I did notice between all the ones from the last administration, and this is where I will get a little political, all the ones from the last administration are 600 plus pages. The ones that I've looked at from this administration are 300 and some odd pages. I haven't looked into exactly why and where the extra 300 pages comes from. It's just an observation of I've looked at the 2026, 25, 24, 23, and 22. And interestingly enough, all the ones except for 2026 proposed are 600 plus pages.
Could it be that there's more deliberate explanation of each topic within those reports?
I don't know. I have yet to go through 18 to 2400 pages of information. It's just one of those initial first observations that I noticed.
Yeah, I got to page 18 on this one before my brain just went.
Yes, and we are not going to go into everything on this because we don't have the time or energy, and I'm not preaching 600 pages. This is 621 pages right here.
Page 2 is interesting.
Does bring up a good point. The more pages, it's harder to read and follow. I do want to go compare a document from this administration and a document from the last administration and try to figure out things that are in there that aren't in, if there's complete sections missing. And that will be something that I will have to ask Mr. Squid to take the little shopping or her to the park, or that will be something where it's like, mommy needs to go to a coffee shop for a couple hours.
I have sent you a private message in regards to this PDF, and it's page 2, para operations.
Oh yes.
If you scroll down, it's keep scrolling. It's the actual page with the number 2.
Yeah, there's one. Operations.
That should sort of give you.
Yeah, and we didn't go through this document together, so this is another thing where it's going to be us like, hey, I found this interesting, or hey, I found this interesting.
Yeah,
because we talk generally every day about something or another, but we don't talk 100% about one topic that we're going to, you know. So this is a lot of us just brainstorming and figuring stuff out as we go.
And just for the record, ladies and gentlemen, they will in this document, or in this part on page 2, they are also discussing unmanned aircraft, but we're not looking at that. We're looking at the money side of it. So
Jeffrey brings up a really good point, and I have to tell you this story because I don't know if you heard it, Spawn. Remember that ACA, we have to pass. Nancy Pelosi famously said the Affordable Care Act, or health care, we have to pass the bill to find out what's in it. Then they spent 6+ months trying not to talk about what was in it, so they had a prayer of winning the midterms. Our Congress recently, with this big beautiful bill that Trump wanted to put through, our Senate, in their infinite wisdom, our wonderful Democratic legislature made the, I don't know what her position is called, the secretary or something, a non-elected person, read the entire bill to Congress. So guess what? They actually read it before they voted on it for the first time probably ever.
How many of them fell asleep?
I don't know. I would have loved to see C-SPAN video of that. I did not. But I did see like reels of her reading it, but they read the entire thing. They made her read the entire thing, which is even worse.
How many pages was it? Do you know?
I don't know. I have to look. It was a few hundred. It wasn't tiny by any means.
I mean, for the first time, that will be a record breaking.
They actually read something before they passed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forget the position, but it's kind of equivalent to the court reporter. But yeah, I don't know if you had heard that, but they made our Democrat senators wanted it read out loud. But for the first time that I've ever heard of, I can confirm that our senators actually read the damn bill, or at least listened to the damn bill, before they
so instead of sitting in their comfortable offices making out that they've read the bill, now they have to sit in the Congress and literally sit there, and they got no escape.
They need Speechify. Speechify is amazing. Like,
that's brilliant.
Start using a page from Megan and start using Super Tips, the AI voice messages. They withhold so much less than YouTube. That's a really good point. I have to look into how to do that. I've seen other people do that too, and I just haven't, like, it's been on the it's been low on the list of things. I've been trying to, I went back to StreamYard. And thanks for all the super chats in the last stream, because I just paid $430 for the year of StreamYard. It saves me $11 or $15 a month in costs, but it was like an upfront cost. So thank you. That's going to help pay for that. Everything that I get in super chats generally goes back into this stream or goes for food, because I have a toddler who has started to finally eat a lot. He just did not lock that door back. Have a kiss. Thank you. Here you go. Love you.
I mean, I am so confused with you guys over there right now. I mean, I've read through all the. I mean, it's like watching like a scene from the Twilight. No, anyway, but like the whole budget thing. I mean, I read through the. I read through some.
Light off. It's giving me a headache.
Hey, what? Do what?
Can you turn the light off, please?
Okay. I mean, I've read through some of these documents, and they're swinging these amounts around, like 200 billion or 194 million, and million here's a million there, and you're like going, where's all this money coming from? Where's it? Why don't the taxpayers have a say in this? Why isn't this being discussed more openly in Congress, or why is it just kept on paper, but they don't actually go in Congress and sit there for an hour and listen to go, right, okay, we've got 300 million, or we got 531 million, and we're going to do this, we're going to do that, this is what we're going to do, and then they start doing it. I don't get that. But what they do, they write a 600 bloody page essay, repeating themselves twice in this one. Yeah, I've read it, and it hurt my head, by the way.
I don't know. I think I'm convinced, like, I have thoughts, like, one bill, one topic. I think it would not only save paper, save headaches, but there's transparency in that, because you wouldn't be able to hide pork of this person wants this included, this person wants this included. So I always say, when you see a headline of people of Democrat senators did this, or Republican senators voted no on this, instead of looking at the headline of they voted no and they're cutting this, it's, well, you have to look at what else was in the bill that they said no to, because they might agree with the main headline of the bill and what the bill is supposed to be for, but they might agree with the 50 or disagree with the 50 pages of, like, giving, $1 billion to the Metropolitan Opera in freaking New York City. Like, we don't need to give millions of dollars to already rich people from taxpayer money. So they might disagree with, like, the 50 pages of bullshit that you're trying to hide. Like, so, like, I always tell people, and that's one of the things that I was doing a while ago on this channel. Every Thursday night, we would do a politics stream, and it wouldn't be like a traditional politics. It would be taking the headlines, deconstructing them, and fact checking them. And, Democrats did this, or Republicans did this. Well, let's see what they actually did compared to what the news is trying to spin you on. But then life took over. So,
I mean, my head already hurts with the amount of contradictions and
life. Yeah,
it's like they're trying to do everything yesterday when they should have.
Yep, and it's a whole lot of rush, and then they get to sneak in their bullshit because they wait till the last freaking minute, and then everybody's, we're not going to be able to fund this, we're not going to be able to fund that, and then everybody rushes and votes on shit that they shouldn't vote for because the government's going to shut down. Like, how about you actually do your fucking jobs and stop working for 3 weeks and going home for a month?
It reminds me of the military. Hurry up and wait.
Procrastinator extraordinaire.
Yep. Okay.
All right.
Yep.
Let's get this. Let's actually get to this. The fiscal year 2025 budget requests $13.6 billion for the operations account, an increase of $1.7 billion, or 14.2% above fiscal year 2023 enacted level. The FAA estimates $531.7 million in uncontrollable cost increases in fiscal year 2025, aka we have out of control inflation. We keep causing uncontrolled inflation, and here we're going to pass that shit on to you. These increases include uncontrollable employee compensation costs, such as the annualization of hiring in fiscal year 2024, as well as government-wide pay raises for FAA Operations Fund workforce in 2025. The budget also requests funding to support inflationary cost increases across the FAA. Well, you caused the fucking inflation. Now instead of fixing it, you just want more money. In support service and telecommunications contracts, parts, and building leases, and the introduction of new equipment into the system. In addition, the budget includes $110 million to sustain the FAA's existing telecommunications network, while the FAA transitions to the FAA Enterprise Network Services. Oy. They make something that could be said in like 10 words into a whole damn paragraph.
Do you know, just thinking, why don't you just, if you're going to employ someone, why don't you just pay them at the rate? You know, that means you can then spend a little bit longer time before you give them a pay rise. So if you give them a decent starting wage because of the responsibility and job they've got, you can sort of like stretch it out before you give them a pay rise.
Government employees, one of the nice reasons it's good to be a government employee is you get a cost of living adjustment every year.
There you go.
Every year. It's one of the reasons that when government employees lose their jobs because government doesn't want to be so big, it's the reason government employees get pissed. Ignore wrong chat. I'm in 3 right now. No problem. It's happened to me all the time. I'm in one chat in my iPad, one chat on my phone, and one chat on my computer, and I'm confused. Or it happens with texts all the time, where I'm like texting my mom and my dad on 2 different devices, and I'm like, oh shit, wrong person. That wasn't meant for you. All right. Oh, in fiscal year 2025, the budget proposes to fund $194 million for subscription services previously funded for the facilities and equipment account out of the operations account instead. These subscription services represent fixed costs to the FAA that are purchased through long-term contracts and are necessary for the safe operation of the National Air System, NAS. These funds support subscription services for data communications, wide area augmentation system, and automatic dependent surveillance broadcast programs.
So is that it on that? Because there's no information about employment training. There's no employers' wages or costs and vehicles they use or equipment they use. Nothing.
Well, here, the budget requests include $43 million to continue to hire and train at least 2,000 controllers in fiscal year 2025, maintaining the hiring surge started in fiscal year 2023. This increase will allow FAA to rebuild the pipeline of certified professional controller staffing levels to meet current traffic demands, which overall have nearly rebounded to pre-pandemic, let me correct that for you, government levels. Yeah. This paragraph goes into Office of Aviation Safety. But that we're not going to get into.
Yeah, they could actually put a little bit more money into that than they have done so far.
Yeah, facilities and equipment. Let's see. I mean, here, budget request provides $419.5 million to modernize the FAA telecommunication infrastructure, continuing to transition from legacy time division multiplexing to more modern internet protocol technology, IP.
That's gone up by 45 million.
Yeah. The enhanced modern network will enable seamless and secure connectivity within the NAS for air traffic control facilities, airports, and aviation service providers, and other essential entities, ensuring the rapid and reliable exchange of information necessary for the safe and efficient operations of our skies. The request includes $140 million to invest in FAA Enterprise Network, moving away from point-to-point hardwired circuit and enabling the innovation needed to support next-gen operations to meet evolving cybersecurity and resiliency needs. What I want to know is this is what they said they wanted the money for. The thing that this is where I think we should go next, because it's 4:30, kind of getting to that, hour and a half time frame, and this is a big topic, so it's kind of like I want to keep these to like an hour and a half, less than 2 hours, because these can get deep and
too much. There's too much information to digest in these because this is a very hairy topic. I agree.
I want to know. This is fiscal year 2025, so this is current. I want to know what they're actually doing this year.
Wait a minute. There it is. 364.2 million to address the nation's towers alone.
Okay.
And Trecons. So that
this budget request provides 501.2 million for FAA air traffic facilities, including 364.2 to address the nation's towers, Tracons and en route centers rehab needs, 63 million for facility replacement, and 74 million for environmental improvements. And I want to know what they mean by environmental improvements, because I have questions, because this is written for someone who for another government employee.
Yeah, I mean, environmental improvement could mean if there's airports near green belts or stuff like that they sort of like maintain and look after the green belts, the forests or tree lines or whatever there's around there.
Yeah,
maybe. I mean, I'm just guessing on that one.
That's a really good point. Like, cutting the grass, because I know that like in Milwaukee, some of the lights for incoming aircraft are in random fields, and you need to make sure that the aircraft can see those lights. So you need to make sure that you go out. Snow removal equipment.
Yeah, and also you have to think about all the chemicals and everything else. Is that like it can affect the grass and the trees and the bushes and the natural around the nature around the airfields or airports. I mean,
Well, yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I apologize.
No, it's all right. But the thing is, I can see where they're going with that. But like LAX or other major airports, they're like built fairly close to the cities, right? They're literally like only a couple of miles outside the city, but there are airports, major airports that are like got a lot of nature around them. So maybe that's part and parcel to make it like,
Yeah. Also, since this is fiscal year 2025, there's questions I have based on personnel who are doing this. So this was budgeted by the Biden administration, but implemented by the Trump administration, since obviously, partially implemented. Remember, October 1st of last year. So partially administered by the Trump administration. I'm interested to see the prior year. So there's a couple of routes that I want to go down, and this is going to take us on more than one stream. And this is why we do this every week, so that we go down small little, things every week, so that, because this is an incredibly large topic. This is an incredibly large topic. I want to look at what are they doing this year with this budget, and what is a completely Biden only administration. So fiscal year 2024 was put into place was planned in 2023. Fiscal year 2024, he was president the whole time, whether he knew it or not. Sorry. Couldn't help it. Man, I'm sorry. I worked in a hospital, and if he would have been my patient, I would have been calling social work and putting in an elder abuse complaint. Like, I'm sorry. Like, whether I liked the man or not is nothing to do with it. That was straight up elder abuse. Straight up elder abuse.
Well, sorry, go.
Straight awful.
In that comment here, it says the request alongside the fund. Oh, sorry, my bad. Funding requested will be improve the conditions of air traffic control on route facilities and centers while continue to address the 5.2 billion backlog to sustainment needs. The request alongside the funding provided the bipartisan infrastructure law and a new mandatory facility replacement and radar modernization proposal of 8 billion and over. Now, here's my question. Why don't you concentrate on the modernization of ground radar and radar ATCs and crew, and staff training and employment? And then, like, I mean, there has to be priorities. And by the looks of it, there, you know, I mean,
There's not.
No, there isn't, is there? It's like it's all over the bloody place, to be honest with you.
Yeah. And that's, I think when we first started this stream and we were talking about like when Outpost Nerd was saying, well, that wouldn't work, you know, when we were talking about all the, I remember his comment specifically with like the shutting down Atlanta wouldn't work. I kind of almost like breaking it down to a tiny part, like our stream. When we try to do too much, we're spreading ourselves too thin and nothing gets accomplished. But if you put all your effort into one area, improve that area while providing just enough effort to maintain the other areas, while putting a large percentage of your effort into improving one area, and then the next year switch it.
Yeah, because the thing is, you've got three major things you need to prioritize. You've got runway maintenance, you've got ground and air radar systems, close proximity and all that stuff. Then you've got obviously the NOTAMs system. You've got the upgrades for the equipment in the ATCs itself. So there's your major things that need to be dealt with. When it comes to environmental, you know, stuff, or you know, airport, what do you call it? What do you call them? Oh God, what do they call it? Departures and arrivals, and you got your airport gates. I mean, all that can be done when it comes under the facilitation of your airport maintenance type of bill. You know, they should separate these two from each other. You got the technical side, and then you've got the environmental side and / airport upkeep and maintenance. You know, I can't even say that. I mean, it's like they've got this all back to front, upside down, inside out, and I mean, like they're throwing these big sums around, like 562 million there, 80 million here, 8 billion there. You know, separate the most important stuff, how much it will cost, how much it is costing, how much it will, how long it will take. But what they're doing, they're throwing everything in the pot, stirring it around, and then typing out this.
And going back to that, I'm going to stop this for a second because I think we're 3 pages into or 5 pages into that, and it's already given me a Oh, King Bob's Queen, how are you?
Yeah, and there's 621 pages.
For only one reason, to delay the vote. Yes, I agree with you. But for once that I am aware of, there could be more, obviously. They actually read the bill. There's proof that they actually heard the bill before they voted on it. There's definitive proof that everybody present, I can't say all 100 of them because I'm convinced that some of them weren't there, but that everybody that was there actually heard the entire thing for probably the first time in their career, which I can appreciate, actually. So I know they did it just to delay, but it was like it had an opposite effect. Him trying to delay, actually, everybody heard it out loud for the first time.
I've got an idea.
Okay,
I've got an idea. As Baby Squid gave me permission. Here's my idea. Until the next stream, I think what we should do is probably each day or every is spend an hour, and what we'll do, we'll look at the fiscal year, what we've got this year, that 300-page one. We look at that, and then what we do, we'll go back 2 years to 2023, 2024, 2025, and try to segregate the sums of exactly what's going and how much it's getting and why. and then try to figure out, you know, what time span they've added to that. Hi, Steve. Because I think that the only way we're going to survive this brain tricking aneurysm is by separating. Because looking at this document right now, I'm on page 10, and I already want to yeet.
Yeah, it's literally the only thing that matters is literally like the first 6 pages.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. The rest of it is just explanations showing you where it's going, what departments, what, you know. This is insanity. Daddy. Yay!
Daddy's girl through and through.
And the biggest sigh I've ever heard. Oh. But yeah, I mean, like, the thing is, they're talking about 8 billion. We've already seen the 362 million that they mentioned last time.
Yeah, which brings me back to this document that we read back in May, ATC overhaul plan. I don't agree with everything in here. However, for being 8 pages, it's actually pretty thorough on what it actually says, where the money's going to go and how long it's going to take to do it.
And the thing is, the fact that they've actually shown examples of what a terminal looks like and what equipment. I mean, you know, like that terminal looks like it's out of some sort of freaking Doctor. What's that? Dr. Lovechild, or Love Strange Love, or whatever his name. Peter Sellers was the star in that. I mean, look at that picture there with the silver foil around the cable so they get a better signal. Those ribbons haven't been used in computers for the last 10, probably 15 years plus.
Well, and here's my thing. When we were, my thought, not my thing.
The Love Strange, there you go, that's the one.
When we were first discussing this and I first sent this document to you,
yeah,
you and I first had the issue of, like, it doesn't give a lot of detail, or if it doesn't give a lot of this, or it doesn't give a lot of this. And then when we started reading these damn budget documents, I'm like, you know what? That ATC overhaul plan wasn't written as badly as I thought it was.
No, actual fact, it makes a lot more sense now than it did when we first read it. I mean, we didn't actually
looking at it again, and I opened it up to show the chat who might not have been here, because usually back in the day we were getting like 15 to 20 people on a live for these when we first started them. Now we're getting 20, 30 to 45, 25 to 45. So people might not have seen this. This is the written by Sean Duffy, probably not actually written by him, let's be honest. But this was 8 pages from the Trump administration, exactly what they are going to do with the plan, their plan for the air traffic control systems. And when we were first reading it, I'm like it or hate it, for the first time in my lifetime, at least, I'm actually seeing an administration that says we're going to do this, and they came up with a plan. Might not be a perfect plan, might not be what I would have done, might not be what you would have done, but for the first time, somebody has a fucking plan, and I'm like, hallelujah.
Yeah, but the thing is, I mean, I know we bumped heads with that one, but the thing is, here's the thing that I've noticed. What was written in that document and what's written in a fiscal year summary, a budget summary, seems to contradict each other. The only thing that doesn't contradict is the amount of monies that is going to cost. Like in this one here, it gives you 3 billion. You know, it gives you different variations over a certain period of time. Whereas the fiscal year budget summary seems to have like contradicted some of what's being said in here. Like it said here, it's 3 billion a year, whereas they're going, it's 8 billion.
Well, so, and here is also the thing versus what is written in a budget of what they plan to use the money for and where the money actually goes. There's another
concept. Yeah, we still haven't figured that one out yet.
Yeah, and I can pretty much guarantee without a whistleblower or some FOIA requests, we never will.
No.
But here's looking at this now, like it wasn't horribly written in my opinion from just looking at it the first time. But now that I'm looking at the way these budget requests are written, this is much better than
This document
better than those.
Yeah, Squid. This document here, right, is basically it's like a fucking quick battle order.
Yeah.
Right. Whereas the fucking the budget submission is more of a like, let's confuse the shit out of you to such a point where you just want to read, you just want to glance over it and not read it all.
And I'm also wondering if the fiscal year 2026, when that starts to get implemented, this program right here, if that's why it's less than or about half the amount of a 621 page document. That the fiscal year 2026 is 385 pages. I have it open on my iPad because I was reading it when I was getting my IV this morning. So,
and have you noticed something else with all these documents that I've noticed? There is no actual confirmation date of starting to work on upgrading the systems.
I'm wondering if,
this document here is only a suggestion. This is just a, hey, look, this is what we need to do. This is how long it's going to take. This is how long it's going to cost. But there's no 100% underlined, we are starting on this day. And we're going to work on this airport first. And then we're going to work on that airport first. And this is what it's going to cost. That's one thing I have noticed. That's what's missing out of all this, is the commencement of operations, i.e. upgrades and commencement of retrofitting or upgrading the systems. Sorry to throw a spanner in the works, but I thought I'd mention that now before you.
Yeah, that's the. Ooh.
That was what the hell was that?
Thunder.
I felt that, let alone heard it.
Yeah, so did I.
I thought you burped. Sorry.
No, I felt that in my chair moved. Like
I get that, Paul. They won't be able to agree on a pot. But the thing is, if they've already got a budget by the looks of it, and they've had a budget and they are getting a budget each year, right? Then where is the start date? Why haven't they started? That's what I'm trying to say, because that's one thing you don't see in these documents.
Well, technically, the start date, I see what you mean, and I just want to clear up a confusion to make sure I understand exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, translate into Americanese. There you go.
Well, the start date would be the first date of the fiscal year would be October 1st. However, we don't see when the money actually gets to start. Like we don't see the manager filling out the budget, starting to order supplies, or we don't see the construction company being hired to
exactly the physical input.
Yeah. I was just making sure that I was understanding what you meant, because at first I was like, it's the start of the fiscal year, it's October 1st. But then it was like, no, that one layer deeper.
I'm talking about physically getting getting hands on the equipment, updating it, upgrading it, and training the guys, training the staff, and if need be, upgrade their hourly rate or whatever, their wages and shit like that. So basically, they do the job they're paid for. That's what I mean. But that's one thing we haven't seen in any of these documents. And this has been going on how long now? This goes back to 2000. I mean, I've had a look at that budget site, and it goes all the way back to 2010.
I think that site goes back to 2014. Let me look. Hold on. So, guys, just for reference, I will put this budget or this link in the description of the video, so you guys can see exactly.
Oh yeah, 2014. Sorry, yeah, 2014.
But this is and the last time this was updated was June 2nd. So this fiscal year budget estimate was put in June 2nd. But it goes into like plans and reports.
Oh God, don't even
like it goes into like we could take this and spend years on just this freaking website.
Mm-hmm. Well, just on these budgets alone, it would take months.
So it's it's like plans and reports, like economic impact reports, accomplishments.
Oh, look at all those rabbit holes. Yay.
Yeah. Like I said, there's reasons why we're doing this. One, and we're trying to stay when we start. I know we kind of get off topic on some things based on where the chat kind of goes, but for the most part, we are trying to stay one topic, one like one.
Yeah,
little...
when I saw those top management, freaking links, I literally had an aneurysm.
Yeah, it's this one, safety incident report. This is one I want to get into though sometime, and it's only 22 pages, so it's manageable. So,
yeah, but I tell you one thing though.
This one right here. This is one we will get into. I don't know when, but we will get into this. This is 2024's. This is from 2024. So, issued September 6th, 2024. Annual safety incident report.
That's going to be a freaking, oh man. Just, table of contents just gave me another aneurysm. Oh my God. Wait, what? They go into the certificate holders evaluation. You really want to go into this?
Yeah, not now though.
Oh no, we're definitely gonna need a while. We need to talk. We have to read and talk through that.
Yeah. So we're gonna stop sharing this before we start a rabbit hole that we can't get to today. But I mean, there's plenty of stuff just based on the FAA's website to, and that's not to mention independent research on when you start looking at who wrote these things and start doing research on their backgrounds. And it's I could do a show on this every day for the rest of my life and still never get to the bottom of all these freaking rabbit holes, because as I'm doing shows, rabbit holes will start appearing.
One thing I am going to throw the spanner in the works. I'm going to throw this flashbang in the room and close the door and smile. And basically the flashbang is they've had these reports going for 2014. Why is it 2025 and they still haven't fucking implemented a actual physical implementation of action? So why has ow. Yeah. Ow.
All right. Well, we are coming up on 2 hours. I have to get going. The Hubs is home. I have to make sure that he's got everything he needs for work tomorrow, and that if he's hungry, that we make dinner. And
you can't leave me hanging like this. I need to. I mean,
we will hop down this rabbit hole another time. I promise. We have time. We've got nothing but time. Like, I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. Unless I win the lottery, I will keep streaming. If I win the lottery and all of a sudden I'm a multimillionaire, peace out, YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, no. What I'm just in regards to Paul. Here's the thing: they each year since 2014 on record. Excuse me, since 2014 till now, there's been fiscal budget summaries, right, being put onto this website. Now, each one changes differently. The amounts go up and down, and whatever. However, if they've been talking about this since 2014, that means all they've done is basically guess and just write shit down, but they haven't implemented. And in some places, they probably have. They've probably have gone and say, right, okay, hey, Squid, here's 8 billion. Go and sort out LAX. Go and sort out Alabama main airport. Go and sort out San Francisco airport. And they probably have upgraded stuff. They probably have trained people up to a level, you know. But this has been going on. This is now 2014 to present. So think about it. Think outside the box, people.
Uh,
But my head hurts now, just for the
well,
record.
I see where you're coming from, but it's like you can here. I'll drop this link. The budgets.
I'm not making assumptions.
No, they're right here.
Yeah, Squid's going to drop the link, and you can you can see it.
You can see all of the FAA budgets.
I never make assumptions.
Are right. Like they are all right here.
Paul's been rude tonight.
You can see they are all right here.
Yep, I'm only joking, Paul.
The only one that's estimates is, I mean, technically they're all estimates. They have to be approved by Congress, and then you have to see what was actually approved in Congress. But they do have, when you go into, let's see if I already have it open. Did you final report? No. They share this tab. It does go into what enacted in February, what was enacted in fiscal year 2023, what they request in 2025, what was in 2024. So like this is what they spent in 2023. Here's 2024, and this is what they're requesting in 2025. Like you can see where the money was spent. You can't see exactly like where, like how much went to each thing, line by line, item by item, because you're just never gonna.
Yeah, I get it, Paul. Don't worry about it. I know what you're doing. I know that you know, the thing is, because assumptions always, confuse people, but it's not assuming when you've got fiscal budget summary reports from 2014 and they're still talking about it instead of implementing the actual.
Yeah, when you literally have budgets that say our shit is out of date in 2014 and you're still saying the same shit in 2025. Yeah. Oh, here we go. We lost our my stuff again.
No, you're back. No, you're back.
I think the weather is having a lot to do with this because we have some pretty strong storms moving through right now. But this is what happened.
Yep. Oh. Is she gone?
You click on.
No,
I'm back. I'm here. I'm not.
You are. You're still here, sort of.
Sort of.
Yeah, there you go. You're back now.
It also doesn't help that with crappy internet with the weather that now the dude is home using his phone.
Yeah, but we'll cover this on the next one because I think that like getting a summary of everything we've discussed, giving people sort of like a recap and a summary, and then because like the thing is we could sit here until hell freezes over and we're both ice skating like Torvald and Dean. We're still never going to get to get the answer, but
yeah, we have some sketchy weather.
Yeah, some very sketchy weather.
It's like
some sketchy people.
But literally, this is the same. Like I will zoom in, but it's literally the same exact. Like it's copied and pasted.
Yep.
Like this is 2014. Does it literally sound the same as? Like it literally sounds the same.
Where is it?
Facilities and equipment.
Yep. 2.8 billion. 928 million.
I'm trying to find the operations here. Fiscal year 2014 request of 9.7 billion represents an increase of just 0.6% above fiscal year 2012 enacted budget. Funding level increase is 62 million in air traffic programs, 30 million to provide maintenance, newly transitioned in-route automated modernization systems, as well as modest inflationary adjustments to FAA's workforce. It's literally copied and pasted. Mm-hmm. Or it's not, if it's not copied and pasted, it's a damn template of the same. Here's one, two, three bullet points.
But look in the last paragraph where they put in there the 40+ year old legacy automated system.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus! They already knew about it then, so
yeah. ERM is a critical system as it replaces host the 40+ year old legacy automation system infrastructure. that supports high altitude air traffic management.
I mean, 11 years later, and they're still talking about the same fucking problems. I rest my case, Your Honor.
Yeah, it's unfortunately Wi-Fi, because Ethernet is yeah, Ethernet. I'd have to run cable to the other side of the house, and
Do it through the loft.
yeah.
Go in the corner, over your left shoulder, that left corner. Go straight into the loft, and then put the cable down towards your router.
Or well, I could probably make it work, but I have to work on it. It's just not something that's been. It's been better since they fixed the issue, but weather is still a problem around here. Yeah, they spent the money, but it doesn't have. Yeah, they don't have wings or to have to tell us where they put it.
And Paul, one more thing, not proven yet. You don't have to prove anything just by looking at the budget reports and looking at the upgrades.
Hey, Paul, I know you're not from around here, but we literally have in the next county over, have the weirdest like U-turn system, for semis. Instead of just making an intersection or even a roundabout for this area, they put in where you have to turn right, and then you have to do a U-turn to get across the road. And I looked at Mr. Squid and I was like, that's really stupid. And his words to me were they had extra money in the budget and they had to spend it somewhere.
So true. That even happens over here as well.
Those were his words to me about a construction project on a county highway. So if that's what happens for a construction project on a county highway, that's a few $1,000s, maybe like $100,000. Could you imagine the billions of shit that goes into infrastructure for air traffic? Like, they spend money on shit. There's reasons they spend $750 on a clock. It's because they can, not because they should or they have to. It's because they can.
I mean, I'll give you an example. There's a motorway in the UK that has been worked on for the last 37 years, and it's still not done because they know it's a money pit.
They keep putting money into it, and they can explain why they're putting money into it, and then they keep getting money for it.
Yeah. It's like the thing is, I'll give you an example. Wales, England, and Scotland have road systems that are so out of date. Like if you go to Germany have set up their roads and motorways using the same material that racing tracks use, just for example. And the water basically disappears into the actual road, and that's why they have much safer roads over there than we have here in the UK. But then again, 37 years trying to work on a motorway. Oh, look, that's cracked. We need to fix that. How much is that going to be? Oh, that's going to be 1.6 million.
Here, they just try to rush everything so fast that they fuck it up and then have to fix it and then have to start over again. We have a situation here where I was once again, Mr. Squid knows more about certain things and has friends in certain places that I don't. And redoing and expanding a highway here, they blew their entire budget on cutting down trees.
Well,
but you know what? If you spend your entire budget on cutting down trees, you can explain why you need more money the next year.
A lot of councils, Wales and England and Scotland, a lot of the councils run out of budget within the first 3-4 months of the tax year, and next thing you know, all your bills go up. Yeah. So yeah. And by the way, just for the record, we've got a similar issue that the Americans got with their ATC and air traffic. So just so you know, anyone from the United Kingdom, we're in the same. Just so you know.
Squaw Bob, you bring up a really good point, and I don't think you intended to do it, but you did it anyway, and thank you. You made me think of something. It's always better to fly in spring or the fall with a flock of fellow travelers. I know what you're getting at with that, but when we were talking about earlier how to do it and separating air, it might be better to do certain airports at certain times of the year as well, based on influx.
Temperature.
No one's going to fly to certain
Mm.
places in, December. So as much as it might suck to work and redo those systems in December, you're not going to have to cut down as many flights because there's not as many flights. But that takes still looking at data and all that. And, but yes, Dan, they are the ultimate grifters. The government, the ultimate grifters.
I wonder if we're still going to be sitting in next year or the year after that, still talking about this. And I bet you any freaking money that we'll still be talking about where the money's going, and we'll still be talking why haven't they started with the ATCs and started upgrading the equipment. And we'll still be talking about close calls and mid-air, and all the stuff that we've discussed in the past. I bet you.
All right, guys, I have to get going. Thanks for the 30 people that stuck it out for this Wednesday afternoon crap shoot. That always it's fun.
Yeah. Don't blame me. I'm a guest.
It's fun, but it's one of those things of you could easily fall down another rabbit hole if you read too far into a document. So it's we kind of got to take it one step at a
time. Yeah,
take it one step at a time.
Yeah, and one thing I'm definitely not going to forget is the fact that you screen snipe. So if we ever play a game together, I am so not streaming. Can you imagine that? That was funny though. That caught me off guard. That did.
That was well. You don't have anybody set up to be able to redirect to you.
Oh
so
shit! Yeah, you have to.
Huh?
You have to show me how to do that at some point.
I will show you how to do that. I can actually show you how to do it when we're done here before you log off.
Do we have to do it tonight because my head hurts?
Oh, it will take 30 seconds. It's super easy.
Okay.
However, it's one of those things of I wanted to let people know that you were still streaming because you had an important stream.
Yeah, that was actually quite important. Actually, that was a very easy rabbit hole to put a searchlight in and show people actually, well, there's a couple of discrepancies here.
Yeah. And it's one of those there's certain things that people ask me if I'm covering, and it's no, because people do certain things a lot better than me.
Yeah.
And I am,
you're welcome.
There is certain things where it's why should I do it when people are already doing it better than me? Yeah.
Well, I'm not saying I'm better than you doing it. I just I just sort of
no, more thorough than me. You put effort into stuff that I haven't put effort into, and I'm not going to try to I'm not going to try to do something if somebody has obviously put more effort and put if I'm going to watch to get information on their channel, why should people watch me? No, go watch them. They did more thorough, better, and explained it much better than I can because I don't know what the hell is going on. You have the background in the knowledge of what's going on with that Northport situation and the names and a lot more background with what the hell's than I do.
Yeah.
I don't.
Well, other people have more than me, but the thing is, I look at things that I apologize if this offends, but I look at things that other people may not look at.
That's true. But you also know all of the players, or at least you know who all
No, hang on a minute. What, Chucky, really? In the heart, dude?
you
I want a divorce.
Don't say that too loud, considering,
Yep.
It's one of those things of I don't cover certain things because I don't know, people have to explain to me every time who the hell Biscuit Boy is. I still couldn't pick Luthman or whatever his name out of a lineup unless you say Penguin. He looks like Penguin from Batman.
No, Mr. Magoo.
I can't tell you anything about these people. So I'm I don't know. Therefore, me trying to explain and talk about these topics, I'm I have no idea who the fuck this person is.
Yeah, but don't forget, I don't know that much, but one thing I do know.
You said
is that I noticed stuff that some people may not notice. And the thing is, one thing I did notice was I covered this last year in regards of all this. And I just find it very peculiar that this has happened now and didn't happen last year. And also there's about a half a dozen different variations of names that were not mentioned on a document that should have been mentioned. Because the last time, just for the record, last time the Caridos name was used was in 2013.
And I look at that and I'm like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. But host picker, not the funds sent out, but a report on where the funds were spent. Those are at management level, and we'll never see those unless you somehow get a FOIA request or somebody leaks them to you.
A FOIA request, would you actually be able to get that information?
You may or may not. I would have to research where to go for that.
Because wouldn't that be federal level?
That would be something Megan would probably know.
Yeah. Because, I mean, like that type of information, I mean, there's probably a reason they're not even putting it in these reports, because obviously it's, restricted to, people who, should see it, but obviously the public, because obviously these reports are public reports.
Yeah.
So therefore, public can see so much, but some stuff they can't see. So if you're doing a FOIA request and it's federal level, can they turn around? I mean, they can turn around and say, sorry, no, that information is restricted. You can't, that's, no, you're not part of the Homeland Security or the three letter alphabet.
Need to know, and the security clearance and all of that.
Yeah. Sorry, we don't have your DNA or blood on a system, and you're not a federal agent, so and you're not part of the secret squirrel brigade, especially the cone throwing squirrel types.
All right, guys, this is where I am going to say goodbye. I do have to get going.
We didn't get derailed tonight, did we? No, we didn't. Huh? No. We didn't get derailed that much.
Well, tonight. A little bit, but more by ATC hiring practices, which was still a technical. I will add my videos going over the ATC lawsuit, part 1 and part 2. I will add them to this playlist. They are from 4 months ago, or 6 months ago, actually, probably longer than that. They are long into the they're long ago when my channel had less than 1,000 subscribers. I think I was only getting super chats at that point in time. So they are not very well noticed. But I did start going into this stuff before a lot of other people started talking about it. I also, there's things I've talked about and that have been on my radar, for no pun intended, for a long time. And I've made videos about. My channel was just super freaking tiny, and I never got it. The views and the videos never got any traction because I had no people.
I mean, one thing I've liked about these topics when we do this on Wednesday is that, excuse me, you got Jeff and other people who are very interested in this topic and are very knowledgeable as well. I mean, I've seen some of the comments from them that, you like going, oh, right, okay. So, I mean, like tonight, I've written down 2 comments from Outcast, not Outcast, what was his name?
Outpost Nerd.
Yeah, and
he has
also
a really good channel too. He's a gamer. So. Yeah.
Oh, nice to meet you, mate. So I've written down a couple of things that I'm going to do.
How I talk to a lot of people in the gamer community, and I don't game.
Well, you should do. You need to game. You need to get World of Warships. You need to get Deadside. You need to get armor. You need to get American
computer that's strong enough for it. I don't have a gaming setup.
I just hear excuses right now.
There's not fast enough for it.
I know.
I need to get a laptop that's set up for.
Yeah, I'm just busting your balls. Don't worry about it.
I know. It's what you do. But that's okay, because I do it back to you too. So it's what we do. Anybody who's like, he interrupts you. It's like, have you seen how many times I've interrupted him?
And even like sometimes I reach out to tell him to shut the fuck up so I can get word in sideways. Would you shut up for a second?
And sometimes I tell him I have to go, and 20 minutes later, here we are.
Yeah, I just feel victimized. That's all.
Of
Yeah.
course.
No,
All right,
but I mean,
I really do have to get going. I
yeah,
will see you guys tomorrow. We will be going over over a case out of Ohio. It is a trigger warning case involving a child. I don't know how I've gotten wrapped up into doing this, but these parents need to be held accountable.
I need to do it. I need to do another truck sim game night. I need to do that again.
All right, guys. I will see you on the next one. Have a great day.
Take care, everybody. Thank you so much for having me, Squid, and thank you everybody for,
No problem. It's been fun as usual. Bye,
Yeah.
guys.
Take care, everybody. Adios. Yeet. Yeet.